It's a great day, sports world. It's up to all the sports lovers, the haters, the addicts, and the fanatics out there. This is Larry Patterson with GT365. That's Game Time 365 Sports right here on the GTSN. It's the Game Time Sports Network. It is Championship Sunday. Uh, the mile high 52-80 Denver Broncos are in the AFC Championship game as I predicted in my 32 and 32. Y'all guys can go back and look at that. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel while you're over there. And I got the biggest Bronco hater, the biggest. My boy Mon. How you doing today on this snowy Sunday in the area? I know you snowed in and everything, and how you feeling about your enemies playing on Championship Sunday? How you doing today, brother?
It's a wonderful day, man. I'm doing well. Yeah, we snowed in over here. I think the whole East Coast snowed in. But yeah, man, just make sure everybody's safe and warm with their families, not to be out on the road if you don't have to be. But far as the game, um, you were right about the Broncos. You said, hey, that they can get to the AFC Championship game. Of course, I was hating. As a resident Vegas fan, I was always going to be a hater of the idea. But hey, your team's here. They're playing a up and coming Patriots team, and I'm looking forward to this game. There's a big key piece that's not playing, but yeah, man, we'll see here in what 3 hours or some change, man. It should be a good ball game, and I'm gonna let you start off with this your teams and what you think about the game. What are your keys to the game today?
So keys to the game is very very unfortunate that Bo's not gonna be playing. It would have been a very the matchup would have been more I guess more appealing if Bo was playing, and then you have Drake May, who was the second overall pick last year in last year's draft, and then you got Bo, who was a 12th overall pick in this year's draft. So it definitely would have been fitting uh, for cinema purposes, but we got Jared Stidham in the back. He's been with the organization for the last 3 years, learning the system. Jared Stidham very well, with him being over there in the Raiders organization. Just to get your opinion about it, since you've seen him uh, when he threw for like 340 against the Niners. I know he was a backup at the time. What were your thoughts when he did have that game to transitioning over to now? He also had a game against the Chiefs that was like maybe week 17, 18 at the time,
Hmm.
where he had a good productive game. What were your thoughts as a Raider fan, and then seeing him in the backup role? What are your thoughts about him, and what are your expectations for him in this game today?
Well, let's paint this picture here. Well, Jared Stidham was I think it was a fourth round pick back in 2019 by New England, and
Yeah.
at that time he was still under the tutelage of Josh McDaniels. So he was learning the New England system. Brady was there, and then just so happened, they moved. Tom Brady moved on to Tampa. Uh, Stidham continued his career with New England. Then when the Raiders job came open at the beginning of 2022. I think they went with Jimmy Garoppolo as a starter. I think they signed for 3 years with 61, and McDaniel's brought Stidham as the backup. Somebody is familiar with his system. So when he actually got that first start or that start versus San Francisco, I wasn't surprised by the performance. It was the shootout, absolutely. It was, I think it was a 30 plus point game by each team. But that goes to show you in the league, if you have consistency and some continuity in the coaching staff, that hey, you can put, as a backup, you can come in and get 2 or 3 games like this and keep your team, steady and on a even playing field for the starter, when he eventually comes back to the lineup. You know what I mean? So I was a little shocked and surprised, but then again, we all know how good of a play caller Josh McDaniels is versus being the head coach. He had a couple failures, one in Denver back in his younger days, and this second go around with Vegas, it didn't shake out. So I think that Stidham having that familiarity with Josh McDaniels helped him a long way in that game and for that little stint that he did play. For the expectations for today, I think Sean Payton, he's one of the best play callers and the last 20, 25 years. You see what he done with Drew Brees. You see what he done with Jameis Winston. You see what he done with Taysom Hill when he played a little quarterback. And I think he would dial up some stuff and make Jarrett Stidham comfortable. Versus New England. New England's defense is pretty good. They got some boys that can come get you. Caleb Von Chase, Robert Spillane, two former Raiders. Christian Gonzalez, he can hold down one side of the field. Shoot, you go on and on. They got some rookies back there, some guys that you don't even hear about on a daily basis or a weekly basis on these big networks that are playing good ball for the New England Patriots in their secondary. So I think Sean Payton will, try to run the ball, schemes make him comfortable. I'm pretty sure this week he's asked Stidham, "Hey, what do you like?" Um, you know, for this game here, and I'm pretty sure he's came up with something. Yes, will the playbook look entirely different now that you don't have Bo Nix out there? Sure, there'll be some tweaks to it, but I think Sean Payton will empty the tank and throw all his cards on the middle of the table and just try to call the best game plan for Jarrett Stidham. And long as the defense can keep him in the game and keep it close, I think there's a chance that he may be able to do something at the end and kick a field goal at Mile High and, at 3 o'clock here.
It's going to be interesting to see who wins the play calling battle between Sean Payton and Josh McDaniels. As you said, both of them um, very elite in their play calling ability. Um, so here's what I'm thinking: McDaniels knows him, and he knows him well. That's what I'm afraid of. Now let's go to the line real quick. Then when the line opened up, Patriots were favored by, well, actually before it was
It
the
was
Broncos.
five and a half.
It was 5.5. The Broncos were opening at like a point and a half, but then Bo had the injury. But then at the same time, you didn't know who they were playing at that time either,
Sure.
because it happened at night. So when the line opened up, Patriots were like up 5.5. Then it jumped to 4.5. Now it's at 3.5. So Vegas, they know something, and I'm thinking they might, yeah, they are still leading toward the Patriots way, but I feel like they coming down off that line because it's not that much of a drop off maybe that they see. Um, so like the play calling is definitely going to be something to watch. The Denver Broncos run game, which has been very inconsistent this year. J.K. Dobbins had a chance to come back this week. It's already laid out on the ground. He's going to be out for this game. R.J. Harvey and Jaleel McLaughlin are going to be two X factors in this game. New England up front, especially with those guys that you were naming, Milton Williams being another one who has championship experience, winning a championship with the Eagles last year. Now you coming over to New England and got a chance to lead this defense uh, against this Broncos team in the AFC Championship game. Another person that you didn't name, didn't y'all have Marcus Jones or Jack Jones?
We had Jack Jones.
So Marcus Jones, very key in the special teams area, and that's going to be another area where it's going to be highlighted, and where Denver has to watch out for him as well. Very good in the secondary as well too. So just I'm looking forward to the matchup between Cortland Sutton, Christian Gonzalez, or wherever Christian Gonzalez is going to be, where he's going to be lined up, with whatever receiver. What receiver is going to be the X factor today? That's not Cortland Sutton. Will it be Troy Franklin if he's healthy enough to go? I think they all practiced this week and they were pretty good. So maybe the hamstring is up to par. You also have Evan Ingram. Sean Payton loves his tight ends. So will Evan Ingram be an X factor in this game? He's been here and there during the season. Definitely not the worthy investment the 2 year investment that we put on uh, in the off season. But uh, I'm concerned. I'm really concerned. And then with Drake May coming into Denver for his first time, you know how the altitude is. They try to scare you with the altitude, but I mean, as we saw last week, Josh Allen, minus the turnovers, if he didn't have turnovers, they win this game. We're talking about New England and Buffalo in the AFC Championship game. So, what's your thoughts on Drake May, and can he be able to walk out of Mile High with a win today?
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna pick before I answer that question. I'm gonna go back to something that you said, and I thought it was very key. I don't know if you elaborated on any that's more that you wanted to, but not Sean Payton,
I was
Josh
kind of going all
McDaniels.
over the place too. So.
Yeah, no, you good. Josh McDaniels being offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots and having Mike Vrabel as the defensive guy and the head coach, Josh McDaniels knows Jared Stidham what he can and can't do. So you best believe that Josh McDaniels has been in that defensive room saying in the room saying, "Hey, this is what he can do. This is what he can do. If you want to hit it from here, trust me, they will get to him today." I look forward to the New England Patriots defense to bring pressure because if you get Stidham off his spot, there's a chance that he could be successful on defense. So I know you were talking. You had said something about that briefly, but I just wanted to double down and come back to that situation. But as far as Drake May goes, this is a big spot, for the former number one, number two, number three overall pick. I can't even remember. They went. I can't remember which one it
Three?
was. It was maybe. Yes,
Huh.
it was three. It was three because Jaden was two. Yeah, of course it had to be Jaden too. But it's a big spot for him. Just a good time for you to capitalize on a Super Bowl window on a rookie contract. And like I said, once again, I expect Josh McDaniels to try to get the ball out of his hand quickly because we know that pass rush is coming. You got a healthy Benito, a healthy Malcolm Roach, Zach Allen, Cooper, Sertain. He's going to be healthy. Riley Moss has been playing well in the playoffs. Jaleel McLaughlin, who was it him that made the huge play last week versus the Buffalo Bills? Um,
It
was it
was
him?
it was he had a 13-yard run, but then I think RJ Harvey was the one that came more in the clutch when he made the defender miss, and
I'm
he
thinking about what's the corner name? Jaquan McMillan. Is it
just
McMillan?
wanted to build it. Yeah,
I
yeah,
get
yeah.
them two mixed up all the time. They made that great play on Brandon Cooks last week. And then you got Hufanga that's going to be the enforcer over the middle. So I expect New England to have a game plan to get the ball out of Drake May's hands super fast. I expect the screen game to be critical with Travion Henderson out the backfield. I know there's one guy that you probably going to be scared of on this field today, and rightfully so. And Ramondre Stevens, can you just keep the ball, 3 yards in the cloud of dust, as they would say, for us old school football here is that what we heard 3 yards in the cloud of dust, keep the chains going, and maybe Travion can get one of them game breakers and just keep that momentum and keep that fire going for the New England offense. And also, Keyshawn Butte has been big for Drake May last past couple of weeks. We all know what Stephon Diggs can do. In the slot on the outside, he's a big game player. He had that one catch in the NFC Championship game back from Minnesota that took him in the division, took him to the NFC Championship game 10 years ago. So we know he has big play potential. And then this is sneaky, but this is I don't know, it's flew on the radar. New England they elevated Mac Hollins from IR. So he's going to be
Key.
out there. Key. He's a big blocking receiver. Going to do the dirty work. Going to make some clutch throws, some clutch plays, clutch catches for you in crucial situations. So I think that is another key activation that went under the radar that nobody really paid attention to yesterday. So I expect Drake May to have a good game. I don't think the moment's too big for him. Um, and my proof was when he went 1-on-1 versus Josh Allen on Sunday night and he held his own. I was like, okay, yeah, he's ready. So yeah, man, I expect Drake May to get the ball out once again fast, make the correct reads, and hey, if he has to use his leg versus the Denver defense, which we know he's capable of doing, he'll be ready to do that, and just stay away from the bonehead plays, air milling the ball, not being accurate. If he can do all those things, I know that's a big if. He should be all right today for sure.
He's prone to taking sacks, also turning the ball over as well with the fumbles and things like that. Go ahead.
One more thing, and I'm gonna let you cook. I noticed the other day, last week. Will Campbell for the left tackle, the rookie left tackle for the Patriots. He's in for a rude awakening. He's going to be the key to keeping Drake May upright. Pay attention today how the formation is set up for New England. If you see them help him out, help chipping on Benito, then Denver knows, hey, that's the weak link on that offensive line because he came out of school last year with short arm, 31 and whatever, and he's been getting whipped this year by some of these elite pass rushers, and we know Benito got paid like an elite pass rusher this offseason. So that's going to be a key for Drake May being staying upright. Hey, can Will Campbell hold his own, and can they not help out Morgan Moses on the right side? Can he be the pro that he's always been and hold his own versus Jonathan Cooper and those other pass rushers? So that's another thing I'll be looking out for New England's first series on offense. How they going to block Nick Benito? Are they going to double team him with the tight end with Will Campbell, or are they going to let him go 1-on-1 and see how he can hold up versus him? And if they need to come help in, they can adjust. And I'm pretty sure Josh McDaniels will take care of that ASAP.
Well, and here's the thing: if you're going to double team Benito, well, guess what? There's another $100 million defensive tackle in Zach Allen right up the middle. So, you know, John Franklin Myers, who's also up for a contract this year. You
Malcolm
know,
Roach, that boy been out of his mind.
Malcolm Roach, big run
He's
stopper, Malcolm Roach.
he's playing the same level of ball as Milton Williams did for the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl last year. You remember how Milton Williams just came out of nowhere and just went crazy in the playoffs? That's what Malcolm Roach is on right now. He's on that type level right there, which is I don't know his contract situation, but he'll be a
Oh,
well
he
paid man.
wrapped up for like the next 2 years. So
Okay,
like
so
we,
yeah, Denver's yeah. So never mind then. But yes, those are my little nuances before today's game.
yeah, and so going back to the Drake May conversation, like he's prone to turn the ball over, but he's also prone to to make those plays as well too. So his fatigue and the rest of the Patriots, talk about them as well. Uh, how they handle the altitude, how they handle that thin air. Uh, will that be the same? Will they sustain that? Be able to sustain that going into the fourth quarter? That's going to be a big question. Drake May and the ball security. Uh, at the beginning of the week, I was like, man, this could potentially scream blowout. Hold on. It could potentially scream blowout because of the now for the past couple weeks, New England's pass rush has been pretty decent. They haven't really had that many sacks during the year. Sacks and pressures and all that. It could be, two different things. But they were not a good pass rushing team. But through the course of the playoffs, they've been better. Broncos got one of the best offensive lines in the league of what first in pass protect, seventh in run blocking. So I mean, even though it sometimes doesn't show, but um, that's going to be that's going to be a big thing too with how that defensive line handles the Denver offensive line. And then going back to Drake May, you got the weapons with Kyle Williams. You missed another one, the rookie. Um, and then Denver, they don't defend tight ends pretty well. Dawson Knox and Kincaid had some big yard gains in those games last week, and as well as other tight ends throughout the course of the season, they've been having pretty good games against Denver as well. So uh, Drake May he's got a big target on his back today, in my opinion, to see how he performs, and then with the Jarrett Stidham, how you gonna be able to are you gonna be able to are you going to be able to show up? As long as the run game is going and that defense is playing, I feel like he should be all right. And that's what gives me that blowout kind of prediction. Because say if the defense is getting turnovers and they're getting New England off the field on third downs, and then when you have that offense coming in and Drake then you have Jared Stidham making the throws that he can make. He can make the throws. If they can just have him do the bare minimum and everybody handles everything else, I mean, Bronco, we could be talking about Broncos going to the Super Bowl. But it just gives me right now. what is it, 3 hours before the game. I'm not sure. I'm kind of nervous because you don't know what you're going to get anyway. So I mean, Drake May's first time being in Denver, he could light it up. He could fall on his face. But we'll see. And then Josh McDaniels having the experience here with coaching here and New England, uh, what being 0-4 in Denver in playoff games. Yeah, I think that's you gotta you gotta put all those in one pot and see how they come. So yeah, I thought you was about to say something.
Yeah, yeah. I was about to say, I know you keep saying, is the spotlight too bright for Drake? I don't think it is. I mean, he's I think he's I don't want to say battle tested because you have to go up against Josh Allen twice a year, and that ain't no strong, that ain't no easy feat as it is. But I know how people say, and I know I was one of the guys. I think you were as well. When New England had the easiest schedule in the league this year, look what they got him. You only can play who's in front of you, and go ahead.
Depleted Chargers team when they don't have everybody, and
That's not his
plus,
fault though. So
well, yeah, I mean that's not his fault. But then you also go to next week when CJ's basically just giving the ball to him. So
no CJ Strauss landed on this game on this thing. No
oh
CJ
we
Strauss.
are we already know where we stand on that.
Yeah, but I will say, long as he can keep the ball, protect the ball, don't turn the ball over. I think Josh McDaniels will put him in a good spot to be successful. And I give my prediction for the winners after before we close out. You might not like who I think's going to win, but I save that for after before we close out the show.
Yeah, I forgot all about the grabs right there too, man. But
That's cool.
uh so your potential X factors of the game will be
Oh, will be my X factors will be Travion Henderson, Will Campbell for the New England Patriots, and then for the Denver Broncos, it's going to be what can Benito disrupt this game. We all know what Patrick Surtain is going to do, so that's not even an X factor. We know what he's going to do. Um, and the linebackers, can you cover? New England don't have the greatest tight ends in the world, but can you not be vulnerable to getting beat by linebackers? I mean, by tight ends. So those are my two X factors for this game. And hey, we'll see how the cookie crumble at 6 o'clock.
I like what you said about Pat and that secondary hasn't been playing well, especially since after the bye week.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Washington on a Sunday night. Marcus Mariota is just hanging like almost 300 on you, and since then that secondary hasn't been that same secondary. So that the whole secondary is going to be got a spotlight on them to me, as well as like I said, Evan Ingram. How are they gonna be using tight end quarterback's best friend is the tight end, so he hasn't got a lot of burn this year. I mean, he has, but it's been in spurts, and I mean, I like to see him how these other receivers are gonna come about. I want to show something to you because I saw this on Kay Adams' show. Look at Cortland Sutton since 2018, all these quarterbacks that he's had in the
Whew.
building with Case Keenum, Joe Flacco, Drew Lock, Brandon Allen, Jeff Driscoll, Brett Ripien, Kendall Hinton. Remember that game?
Mm-hmm.
Teddy Bridgewater, Russell Wilson, and now Jarrett Stidham, and then Bo Nix. And he's been making the most of what he had. Granted, he's been having a couple of injured seasons in there, but if it's any receiver that can come alive today, it should be him. And he didn't come through to like the fourth quarter of the game last week. He had a couple key drops in that game too. Also, Lil Jordan Humphrey as well. Who had a drop in the end zone, but he made up for it. He always seems to do that. Um, So I do expect the crowd noise and the elevated sea level elevation to come alive. I think they're gonna. I think Sean Payton, he already guaranteeing wins, and that's one thing I don't like about Sean Payton. He kind of runs his mouth a little too much, but confident coach. He's done it. He continues to do it. So we'll see what happens today, man. What is your prediction for this game?
Oh, before I get my prediction, y'all get another key player back. Getting Luke Wattenberg back today. He'll
Luton,
be back for you
yeah.
guys. He'll be back for you guys. So that's huge. But my prediction for this game, I just see it sucks that Bo Nix is not in the game to be there because the freak injury happened in the second play to overtime, whatever the play happened. It was freaky and it was unfortunate. So it sucks that he's not there to be in the spotlight. And I think this is going to hurt Denver a little. Hurt Denver to enough to where New England's going to win. So I'm gonna pick New England 27-17
Mm.
to go into Mile High, and punch their ticket to Super Bowl 60 or whatever one we on now. So New England 27-17. I just like the Denver's defense. I think this New England's defense is they're not as good as Denver's defense, but they're playing great ball as a unit right now, and I think that's going to be enough. And Drake made to scratch his team down the field. I think you're going to see one or two explosive plays from Travion today. Don't be surprised if you don't see him as a kick returner at some point. To like if the game is like stale and you need that momentum pop. Don't be surprised if you'll see Travion back there on a punt return or kick return to spark this thing and they take off rolling. So I'm taking New England 27-17. Yeah, that's game one for me.
And when you when going back to the running back, so Travion Henderson, you already know how I feel about him. And I feel like through him and RJ Harvey's rest of career, I'm gonna be sitting here just saying the same thing. Even though RJ Harvey has his production spots where he shines at, and then Travion Henderson, like he hasn't ran the ball well in the last couple of weeks, but you know that he has that home run hitter type of speed, and that's what I'm scared of. Also, Ramondre Stevenson, when you can use him, a regular out of the backfield, but he's also a great pass catcher as well. So um, that's going to be another X factor for New England. Mac Hollins, as you spoke about, good blocker, great blocker, does the dirty work. He's gonna come up there with his shoes off, barefoot. So
Barefoot, Tatum, tie in the parking lot.
so you already know what he's coming with, and I just hope that the Broncos don't get outmatched and just they can be just as aggressive as I feel like New England will be. So, but being the homer, I'm gonna go with another close matchup because that's how Denver does, and I'm gonna say 20. I'm gonna say 20-17.
Mm.
Denver in a defensive battle, and Will Lutz getting it done with a field goal kick. You know, I'm let's let's make it do what it do. Regardless of the fact that we do lose, hey, I'm proud of our guys. We made it to the point where I feel like where I predicted in the early part of the season. And we don't have our starting quarterback in, so like hey, AFC Championship game. I feel like we done an outstanding job this year. So
Yeah,
um,
yeah, we could. Yeah, I think we done covered this game for a whole hour. We can go on and on about this matchup, but yeah, I think we got some interesting topics coming up here with coaching hires and this NFC Championship game too. So yeah.
oh, speaking more of the Bron, you like my gear? Yeah.
Now your orange a little faded though, but it's cool.
Going to
Uh,
the next one right here. He got new head coaching hires this week. Within the last 2 weeks, John Harbaugh getting the New York Giants job. You got Robert Saleh signing with the Tennessee Titans. Kevin Stefanski getting a job in Atlanta. Jesse Minter gets hired as the Ravens head coach. Jeff Hadley is the new Dolphins head coach, and then Mike McCarthy. listed yesterday, Mike McCarthy's new head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Which one of these hires really stand out to you the more, and which one do you like more?
Oh, keep that graphic up for a second. Which one? So you asked me two questions. Which one do I like, and which one do I just stand out more? That was you asking, or you trying
Yeah,
to lump it
yeah.
all in one? Okay. Which ones that stands out to me the most is the Kevin Stefanski to Atlanta hire. I didn't see that one coming. Um, that's it's a big shoes to fill. Matt Ryan being a VP of football operations, that's his first hire is Kevin Stefanski, and we all know he was two-time coach of the year with the Cleveland Browns. He had some good years with Baker Mayfield, and they had a little Twitter beef going on here a couple of days ago. So that one stands out to me, and the one I really don't like is the Robert Sala one. I'm not a big fan of that one. We all know Robert Sala is a great defensive mind, top five, top three defensive mind in the game right now, if you ask me. What he did with the San Francisco 49ers with having his superstars out majority of the year was nothing short of amazing. So, I he feather in the cap for him. But my only question for the Tennessee Titan fan base, and if you're out there, please let me know. How do you feel about pairing Salah with Cam Ward, and if Cam Ward's the future, the OC hire is going to be critical. And do you have any hesitation with his first go around with the Jets? How him and Zach Wilson didn't it didn't work out. So that's one hire with Atlanta that stands out to me, and one hire with the Tennessee Titans that I didn't understand. But we all know, hey, this league is a league of revolving doors and recycling coaches. So I mean, maybe the second time's a charm for Robert Sala. Who knows? So
Yeah. So the one that stands out to me, the one I do like, I do like the John Harbaugh hire to New York, and he does have a great track record with quarterbacks, and so we'll see what that happens there. We'll see if he can talk some sense into Jackson Dart and maybe changing the way he plays. Even though I feel like he'll still continue to be the bruiser that he is. The Robert Sala to Tennessee is interesting, and just like you said about the OC, who is he gonna bring in as his OC? But the quarterbacks coach is also key as well. Um, who would he bring in there, pass game coordinator, all that type of things. Kevin Stefanski, I feel like he can have some success there. I saw the Baker and the Baker Mayfield tweet, so that's going to bring box office popcorn type of vibe there too. To what he could bring there. You got Bijan there, you got Drake London there. Good offensive line. So he's got some things to work with there. Jesse Minter is the one that's key for me because Baltimore always seems to go the defensive route, even though John Harbaugh was more of a special teams coordinator at the time when they hired him. But the Jesse Minter one is interesting, seeing some of the things that he done over at the Chargers organization and knowing the pedigree uh, that the Ravens have. Will you be, that defense has not been the same defense for the last 2 years. So will he be able to bring that back? And then with Jeff Hadley, that's going to be more of a question mark right there. I know he's had defensive success in Boston College and then going to Green Bay this year. But for Miami to go to make that move, it seems Miami-ish to make that kind of move. But we have to see it at the end of the day to see how it all unfolds. But they go with Jeff Hadley and then Mike McCarthy. Who's the quarterback going to be? Is it going to be Aaron Rodgers? Are you going to draft one? Are you going to go with Will Howard, who I felt should have had some type of uh, run in the competition last year? than bringing Aaron Rodgers in. But and I feel like if you bring Aaron Rodgers back in the situation, it's not going to go as good. And look how it was this year. It was, they made the playoffs, but look what they got.
See,
So
I think with that one, I so we remember how we used to beat up the Steelers about Aaron Rodgers, like it ain't gonna work out. So here's my thing, right? There's just a solution that I've been thinking about, and why don't you bring Aaron Rodgers back for one more year and draft Ty Simpson? Let him sit behind Aaron Rodgers for 1 year, and then go from there. I don't know if that's gonna get have Pittsburgh fans up in a tizzy. I don't know if that's good enough, but just as me giving them a glimpse of, hey, if Mike McCarthy is coming there, who knows him better than Aaron Rodgers? He can be a bridge for whoever they draft next. So I say, yeah, bring him back. Or do you go out and give Malik Willis 3 years? See, yeah. But that's another conversation for another episode when we get to that point, man. But I just had to chime in and say what I felt about that Mike, who's the quarterback of being Pittsburgh. So
we got some comments here. Of course, Larry White, cuz Coach Larry White, he says, "Let's go New England." He trolling, whatever. Uh, and then we got a comment from Quan Copeland. He says, "Love the dialogue. Talk that talk." Yeah, appreciate it, bro. um, yeah. So I think with those hires, I think I'm really looking at what Jesse Minter can do in his first head coaching spot. So I'm gonna go there with that one. You got anything else to add with that?
well, Jesse Minter. Well, I think my uncle he told me. Remember, Mike McDonald was there with the Ravens as well, and then he ended up getting a job
Yeah,
with Seattle. Now
yeah.
Minter's back. Mike McDonald and Minter was Harbaugh's coordinator at Michigan when they were like, now he's trying to get that thing back
Back
again.
when they were cheating, Mason.
No, well, it's 2026, bro. I mean, it is what it is. It's 2026, so it is what it is. But nevertheless, they had Mark Winkdale, Mentor, McDonald, and we all know McDonald had that Ravens defense going a couple years ago. It was lights out, and Mentor comes from that same tree, So they're trying to get that back, and I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with Lamar, 29 years old, two-time MVP. He's breaking down a little bit, but that's another whole conversation for another episode again. So we can dig into this NFC Championship game if you like.
NFC Championship game. We got the LA Rams, Seattle Seahawks at Lumen Field. This one kicks off about 6 o'clock, 6:30, somewhere in that time. You got Matthew Stafford going against Sam Darnold for the third time this season. They've had some thrillers this season. Um, this one is going to be interesting. Seattle's got that defense. Matthew Stafford struggled a little bit last week. Well, last two games. He had the game in Carolina, had the game in Chicago, um, and then you get to see your NFC South, NFC West rival one more time. And this one is for all the marbles go to the Super Bowl. Um, Let me take you to the second matchup when Seattle won 38-37. That was on the Thursday night football.
That comeback game where they was
That
down by like
comeback
20
game.
something, yeah.
Sam Darnold, when he had like two interceptions, when he had 34 attempts, 22 or 34, 270, two touchdowns, two interceptions. He got sacked 4 times. Matthew Stafford on the other side, 457 or 49 attempts,
Mm.
three touchdowns. And that was the Puka Nakua game where he had like 225 receiving yards, two touchdowns. Going to the first matchup, which was week 11, and that was more defensive matchup. The Rams won that game 21-19. Stafford in that game was 15 to 28, 132 touchdowns. Sam Darnold, 279. Uh, he tossed four interceptions. He was 29 to 44. So both close matchups. Who is your X factor in this game? We'll just start with your thoughts. I know you about to go everywhere too.
Yeah.
Uh, what's your thoughts about this one?
So this one right here, and I don't know if we can. You got receipts for this, but I did pick the Rams to go Super Bowl from the NFC. I don't know if you remember that. I think I picked the Rams. I think I did when we had Darrell on. I think I did pick the Rams. I had Rams Chiefs, so I'm halfway right. I'm halfway right. Patrick Mahomes, whatever. But this game right here, I don't know. I really don't know because I've seen the Rams click at a high level, and I've seen Seattle click at a high level. And Seattle's defense, brother, let me tell you, I was not familiar with their game. I was not. Um, can Sam Darnold not make the mistake? That's all I want to know.
That's gonna
Because
be
you
the
got
big
the run.
question.
Can he not make the mistake? You don't have Zach Charbonnet towards ACL last week, so you don't have him. So Kenneth Walker and I can't think of the backup name. It's right on the tip of my head, but he would be the workhorse. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Zach Charbonnet, free agent next year as well. Don't know how that's gonna carry with it with the free agent process. If he gets a big deal somewhere, but that what a big blow. But go ahead.
Yeah. Um, yeah, man. Kenneth Walker the third gonna be huge on the ground. We all know what JSN brings to the table. We got Cooper Cup. He isn't the same Cooper Cup of 2019, 2020, but he's still dangerous. And that defense, man. Nick Eamon Devin Witherspoon, Julian Love, Byron Murphy, DeMarcus Lawrence, where he was a castaway. But let me tell you, man, they wanted DeMarcus Lawrence out of Dallas so bad. He said, "Fine, I go sign a 3 year, $30 million with Seattle and come back to the NFC Championship."
They
So
got
he
a lot
cut
of
his.
flack for that signing too.
Yeah, and I was one of them. I was like, "Why are you going to sign this old man that ain't got it no more?" He talked. He said, "Amon, shut up." That's exactly what he said. Then you got Jan Reed in the middle. You got Ernest Jones. They got over the trade from Tennessee. And you just seen how Nick even Warren playing that big slot role, so you don't know if he coming, he can cover. Man, it's gonna be tough. And then on the other hand, you got
Yeah, Byron Murphy
Puka,
there too.
Byron Murphy, you got Puka, Devontae, you got Tutu, you got Higby, Ferguson, you got my boy Kyron, you got Blake Crom,
Kobe Parkinson,
Kobe Park.
Terrence Ferguson. Like they got
It's
depth.
so much, man. It's so much. And half the time with Puka going crazy, you be forgetting Devontae even out there. Until he Devontae make a Devontae play. You be like, there's that guy. You know what I mean? So it's like it's can Sam Darnold not make the mistake? Matthew Stafford has been here, done that before. Um, got a Super Bowl. Devontae has played in a couple of NFC Championship games, so he has that big game experience. Of course, Aaron Rodgers was his quarterback at that time, but he's been there and done it in the big games. And hey, these offensive lines, is Seattle going to wreak havoc on the Rams' offensive line, and is the Ram defensive line going to wreak havoc on the new and improved Seattle Seahawks offensive line? We talked about Gray Zabel last year during the draft, Charles Cross, those guys. We spoke highly of those guys, but can Sam Donald not make the mistake? Can he not get rattled like he did last year going into the playoffs with Minnesota, 14-3 record, get to the playoffs and just disappear? If he can get the ball to JSN and they can stay on schedule, they'll have a chance. But if he goes back and he reverts back to the New York Jets Sam Darnold, or even hell, even the late last year Minnesota Vikings Sam Darnold, they're gonna not gonna have a chance. But they're at home. They've got the number one seed for a reason in the NFC. And yeah, it's gonna be a tall task for either team to come out here with the victories. Who's gonna be the first team to flinch and make a mistake? That's who I think is gonna be what I think is gonna be one of the major keys to this game here at 6:30.
And you have to look at those guys that don't get the ball on the regular in the regular season. These are where those depth players come into play, especially with the running back position now that Zach Charbonnet's out. Who's going to be that second guy that's going to be behind Kenneth Walker? Is it going to be Cam Akers, who's got experience? He's got experience. As far as veteran, I know
Sure.
he's had some injuries and things like that. I think he's been in the Seattle. I think he's been in the Seattle system before. I want to say. I know he's been with the Rams system. Not sure about Seattle,
Yeah.
but I know
No,
he's been
not
with the Rams.
Seattle, but he been with he was with the Rams a few
So,
years
so
ago.
that's a revenge game for him. Also, you got that's pretty much it. I mean, you get Velus Jones, but I thought he was a receiver at one point. I guess they converted him over to a running back. But George Holani, like then you go to the receivers, Elijah Arroyo, which is a rookie tight end
Out of Miami, yeah.
out
I
of
didn't even
Miami.
mention I didn't even mention Raheem Shaheed. They got over for Trey for a
Rashid
fourth round pick.
Shaheed,
I didn't
you
even mention him.
you want to talk about we I don't know if we talk about this often, but like when you go back at the trade deadline and you looking at transactions that's made, like he's going to be one of like I was very critical of it, and I told you before, like why would you go out here and you trade for Rashid Shaheed last week? That is why you do that. It doesn't always
Well,
have to show up in the regular season, but when he jumped out with that kick return, that I was like, okay,
it's
that's
lit.
why you trade for a guy like that.
It's lit. It was lit from there on, bro. It was I don't think there was nothing San Francisco can do after he turned that. So like that kickoff, and it's ironic and similar to that kickoff that Percy Harvin had in Super Bowl versus y'all, and where they just beat y'all down. It was 43-8, and Seattle was lit up. It reminded me of that, and San Francisco just couldn't recover. They just couldn't recover. Man, you, they were outmanned. No Kittle, no Warner, no Bosa, but it was like when it rains, it pours. So he just lit the fuse, and if he come out here and do that today, it might be a long day for the Rams because them dogs on that defense. Witherspoon gonna be fired up. He an alpha dog. Nick Eben Ward gonna be fired up. He an alpha dog. Byron Murphy in the middle. Leonard Williams in the middle. We didn't even I didn't even mention Leonard Williams in the middle. Ernest Jones, Demarcus Lawrence.
It's too many dogs.
It's too many dogs. It's gonna be too many dogs in the 6:30 game. Too many. You can count five. You count five dogs on each team. Let's do it. Stafford, Adams, Puka, Kyron Williams.
Kyron Williams.
Give me another one. Byron Young on the defense. Braden Fisk. We ain't even say Jared Verse. We ain't even say Jared Verse's name. And then you look on Seattle. You got Nick, Witherspoon, Williams, Murphy. You got JSN, Kenneth Walker. Man, it's just
It's a lot.
this this
We
series.
we we hadn't even touched on the guys like Quentin Lake
The role
and the
players.
Omar Spates and
The
the
role
Cameron
players.
Curls Cameron Curl who made a big play last week to help the defense out. We didn't even touch on those guys. So
With the role players, bro. So James Brown and Justin G. I'm with y'all today. I'm telling you, I mean, I ain't got no dog in the fight, man, but they're gonna be y'all gonna be some stressed out brothers for the next from 6:30 to about 9 tonight, because this can go down either way for sure.
man, shout out Brizzle, man. Brizzle, I know Brizzle gonna be turned today, man.
Oh, it's going down. It's going down tonight, boy.
Oh
But
man. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
to this game, man. This and I know I didn't give my X factors. I don't know if you asked me, but I'm gonna give you my X factors for this game. Sam Darnold and Sam Darnold for me for the Seahawks, and how are they going to cover JSN? Are they going to double him? Are they going to play him one on one? Because you can't play him one on one. You know what's going to happen to you. And then Kenneth Walker, who's going to be the other running back besides Kenneth Walker that can spell him for a little bit? Because he got to come off the field and get some air at some point. Can Cam Akers come in and spell a few carries to give him some rest? And for the Rams, Matthew Stafford, hey bro, just you got superhuman wide receivers. You got two top 12 wide receivers in the game right now, in Puka and Devontae. Just can you just pepper the ball to them and just keep the ball moving and keep your team in position to score. I don't have no worries of them scoring. It's just a matter of fact, can he not put the ball in harm's way like Sam Darnold? But you know Matthew Stafford, he takes chances just like any other quarterback in the NFL because his arm talent is so arrogant. You know how you're just so good and your arm's so strong that know you can make a throw and you like can't nobody do nothing about it. That's Matthew Stafford. He can make at
Yeah.
37 years old. He's like, I can throw this needle through a pinhole and nobody's going to touch it. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. I'm more excited for this 6:30 game, and then you got the Raider great Tom Brady and Joe Buck on the call. I'm more excited about the Seattle's LA game than I am the Denver and New England game, if you ask me, man. But either way it goes,
I'm with you, even though Denver's my team, but I'm with you because you have so much like just it's stars all across the board, good role players that could become stars later on in the future across the board. Like you said, with Matthew Stafford being able to make any throw at 37 years old, and just with the weaponry that he has, uh, this is the most weapon filled matchup I've seen in a title. It probably been more, but just thinking about just looking at it right now ahead of the matchup. I mean, we already ran through the names on each side. It's just playmaking ability. My X factors for this game is going to be uh how Sam Darnold utilized the tight ends. And like you said, JSN, if he's doubled, who you gonna go to? Cooper Cup,
Shaheed.
Shaheed. But I'm looking at like guys who's made plays this year, like an AJ Barner tight end, and maybe Elijah Arroyo, every now and again. But AJ Barner, who's been more the consistent tight end, I'm looking at more toward him. Um, and then with the Rams, uh, how if you're doing a good job on Puka, which is hard enough, Tutu Atwell. Do you know Devontae pretty much automatic when he comes into the red zone? So I don't know, man. Seahawks favored by 2.5. The over under is set at 45.5, and I think it could potentially go either way because the first matchup it was 21-17 low scoring, and
Mm-hmm.
they still had a good portion of those guys, and then you had the 38-37 matchup in on the Thursday night. So I don't know, man. I'm uh I'm gonna I'm gonna lean Seahawks because of the crowd effect, and because of the defense, and hopefully Sam Darnold won't fall on his face, and he just what, let me go out here, let's ball, let's get to a Super Bowl. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
Seahawks.
yeah. I don't like I said before I went on my little rant about 15 minutes ago. I don't know who I would take in this one. My heart says the Rams because the veterans, Devontae, Stafford, Cooper Cup, they don't win there. They don't been there and done that. You know what I mean? And then you got the Wiley veterans. I still think Matt Stafford, just for the record, I still think Matt Stafford top five QB in the game right now at 37. That's just my personal opinion. I just think he's too cold. And then you got the young upstart Seahawks, hungry, young. They got dogs everywhere on the defense. I mean, they littered with first round picks on the defense. DeMarcus Lawrence. I'm gonna say the names again. DeMarcus Lawrence, Byron Murphy, Spoon Witherspoon, top five pick. Nick Eamon Ward top of the second round pick, 6'3", 225, run like a should be playing linebacker but playing safety out there.
I had him as a first round pick.
You sure did. You absolutely did. I think I had him in the back end of the first round, but we weren't that far off. Um, so I don't know, man. So my heart says L.A., but I'm gonna take L.A., man, because I just think when you've been there, done that before,
Yeah, yeah,
you just
yeah.
can't. You know what I'm saying? You've been there, you done that. So it's like I'm gonna take the Rams. I'm gonna say 31, 31-24. Late touchdown by Matthew Stafford to hit Devontae. with the inside of a minute left in the
And I
fourth quarter.
also and I also feel like once you've been there and you get to this stage, something in you just gonna, like Matthew Stafford got that dog in him. And
He got it.
once that dog comes in his spotlight, AFC Championship game, a place where you've been before, I feel like it's gonna be hard to kind of to beat you, especially
Yeah,
with that weaponry that you have, that championship pedigree that you have. And Sean McVay, he a play calling SOB, man. So he gonna scheme it up. But then on the other side, you got Mike McDonald, first time in this spot. You know, I I don't know,
but
man. I'm going Seattle for this game, but I want to switch my pick to the Rams, but I kind of want to be against you off of it since we already.
sure. So you taking the two home dogs. I'm taking the two road dogs there. I'm taking New England and LA. You taking Denver and Seattle. I'm cool with that. Long as we get to the Super Bowl, it ain't a 43-8 Super Bowl like Seattle put on Denver back in 2013. I'm cool again. Because if we get that again, you might be insufferable. That's all. That's the only reason. That's the only reason why I'm picking the Rams in the Patriots. And the last time we had the Rams and Patriots, it was 10-3, and Jared Goff lost to Tom Brady. This was a young Aaron Donald. And that game, that was like the most boring Super Bowl I ever seen in my life. I think I took a nap in the third quarter, and the score was like 7-3. It's like, what in the world going on? But yeah, man, it's just how you have them, and I don't throw this term around loose. So you know how you have them heavyweight fights, the Hagler. This is before my time, so Coach White, let me correct me if I'm wrong. The Hagler and Hearns and stuff like that. The this Seattle and LA game reminds me of a. It's gonna be one of the ones, man. I got a feel it's gonna be one of the ones that we gonna look back on this game 20 years from now when you old and gray and I'm bald and gray, and it's gonna be like, you remember that Rams and Seahawks game back in 2026 for the NFC Championship? They went to three overtimes, and Stafford pulled some out his hat. I feel like it's gonna be one of the ones, man. But I don't know, man. It's gonna be good. Now, look, I'm watching some of the highlights on NFL Network. They're showing Rashid Shaheed kick return, and if it get like that tonight, I could look like a plump fool come 7:30, 8 o'clock. So
and,
I don't
and
know.
e- we can agree in both games, though. It not just this game, but scheming them up in general, trying to call a good game plan, trying to get your players ready for this game in particular. For Seattle with a team that has that much weaponry, for the Rams has got that much weaponry, to be able to cover everybody, to be able to to coach this play. It's, man, it's gonna be hard.
It's
So
gonna.
just go ahead.
No, I said go ahead. No, go ahead. I said yeah, it's gonna be tough.
So I see. Look, Brizzle in the chat already. Brizzle in the
He
chat.
lit.
Man,
He lit.
he got the Rams. He got the Rams.
Of
Um.
course.
So to jump back to our prediction, just in case if anybody didn't see it, I'm going with both home teams. I'm going with the Broncos. I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks to win the games. Amon is going with the Rams, and he's going with the Patriots, of course, because he don't like the Broncos, but he's going with them. Those are our predictions. Just in case you want to roll back and see that. That's what we rolling with today. But
Yeah.
yeah, man. What else you got to add to this one? It's gonna be. I feel like this about to be a big. This is about to
It's
be a
big.
big game, right?
This will be a big day today. And okay, so back to the Seattle game, and this is me selfishly. Everybody know I'm a Vegas guy. If you know me, I'm Raider everything. It's this will be a big game for Clint Kubiak, the Rams OC. I mean, not the Rams, but the Seahawks OC, because he's up for a couple of head coaching jobs here. You got the Vegas job open, you got the Buffalo job open, and there's a couple other jobs open as well. The Browns job open. Um, so hey, can you put your best work out there tonight and convince these other owners that need head coaches? Hey, I'm the man for the job. Can you show me what you got? And for the Rams, you got Chris Shula, you got the passing game coordinator. I can't say his name, and you got Mike LaFleur as well. So three people on the Ram staff. Hey, you want head coaching jobs? McVay tree is super super deep now. He got a bag when it comes to coordinators. Can you put your best stuff on display? Whether you're Chris Schuler, the defensive coordinator for the Rams, or you're Mike LaFleur, I think who's the OC for the Rams. I could be wrong. Correct me if I am. So I think these are big games, just not just for the players, but some of the guys that are becoming going to become head coaches here in the next couple of weeks, starting their program. Telling these owners, hey, this is what I bring to the table. I can get your franchise back to this brand of football. So I think it's going to be very important for them coordinators tonight as well to put on a good show, whether it's in a win or a loss. That's it need to be seen, but you just want to put good product out there so you can get one of those pristine 32 jobs that can't everybody have. They're playing coaching the National Football League.
Speaking of coaches, coaching for jobs, Vance Joseph as well. He calls a good
Forget
game.
about fans.
He calls a good game today against this Patriots team. More interviews gonna be coming his way.
Sure,
Uh,
1,000%. Can't leave out Vance Joseph. Much as I hate defensive coordinators as coaches, and well, I'm gonna say hate. That's strong, but I'd rather if you're gonna in our situation, if you're gonna go with the young guy quarterback like Bo Nix and Sean Payton did, they married Sean Payton with Bo Nix by taking him a couple years ago. Get you an offensive guy, but that's not like you're absolutely right. And I'm glad you brought up Vance Joseph. He's done a tremendous job from what he had. And he does not deserve to get overlooked in this coaching cycle by any stretch of the imagination, along with the passing game coordinator Davis Webb as well. They could be
Speaking
out.
of big name,
They both, if they lose today, they can be in another buildings next week. Who knows? So I'm glad you brought up Vance Joseph. I didn't want to dismiss him. I should have brought him up earlier. This will be his second go around as a head coach. It didn't shake out the first time around, but that we know there's some backstory there. But yes, don't forget about those two guys as well. I'm glad you brought them up.
and your thoughts on before we get out of here, because I know you got some thoughts. You had a quarterback that win the national championship this past Monday, in Fernando Mendoza, a Heisman Trophy winner. The Raiders do have the number one pick in the draft. They don't have a head coach.
All right.
Who would you, as a fan, would like to see, or if you imagine yourself in that war room or in those offices with the Raiders, who are you looking at as head coach right now? Future head coach.
Mm, I had said, and I look at me. This is me being going back on what I said. I was a big proponent of Flores with a good OC. Brian Flores with a good OC. Maybe a Brian Flores and a Coach Dayball, but he signed back with Minnesota, and Coach Dayball he might be getting that Buffalo job. Now that I look at it, like I mentioned before, one of those guys from the Rams, Mike LaFleur, the passing game coordinator. I don't want to butcher his name. His name's Nate Shalahy. I can't. I don't want to butcher his name. Or either Clint Kubiak out here in Seattle reemerged with Sam Darnold. But nevertheless, we all know, since we're talking about the Raiders now, that Mendoza is probably gonna be the number one overall pick, 6'5", 225, got a decent arm. He's cerebral.
Hell of an
He's
athlete, man.
athlete. He's a more athletic Jared Goff to me. That's how I see him. Um, can pick you apart. He's smart. He loves the game. So if you're going to take that guy, presumably he is number one overall pick in Tom Brady and John Spatek's eyes. You have to pair him with the offensive minded coach, much like Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams right now. And you've seen the jump that Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams had from year one to year two to be in a divisional round with a home playoff game. But nobody never would have thought the Bears would be in that situation that they're in this year, that they were in this year. So you have to go offensive minded. So and that's why I'm so hyped for tonight's game, the 6 o'clock game, because I feel like personally, one of our head coaches is going to come from that game. You know what I mean? Whether it's Clint or whether it's one is Mike LaFleur or one of these pass game coordinators, I feel like it's going to come from that game. So yeah, man, like I say, he's your guy. It's quarterback class is weak. We all know, you see it twice a year that hey, the Raiders quarterback situation is not the greatest in the world. Geno Smith did what he could, but it didn't work. So you have to move on and get younger, whatever the case may be. So yeah, man, I'm looking at one of these young offensive guys from either the Rams or the Seahawks tonight, and to be the new coach of the Las Vegas Raiders here in a couple weeks. Barring now, hey, if the Rams win and we want somebody off the Rams staff, we got to wait till after the Super Bowl, so that should push it back 2 or 3 more weeks. You know what I mean? So it all depends, man. But yeah, one of those two teams, I think our head coach will come from.
Okay. And it's with Davis Webb and who was the other one? There's Davis Webb and there was somebody else I was thinking about too. But either way, they'll be up for either coordinator or head coaching vacancies as well.
Joe Brady's
So
still out there.
Joe Brady is
Joe
still out
Brady's still out there. Hey, so
there. Um, this about to be a big week here coming up here in about 3 hours or so. Um, myself and Amon already listed our picks. I'm going with the two home teams. He's going with the two away teams. Amon, anything else you got to add before we get up out of here today?
no, man, I got nothing to add, man. Just everybody stay safe in the storm, ice storm. Stay warm. Stay with your family. Don't try to go out if you don't have to. If you lose power, hope it ain't for the brief moment. Keep our fingers crossed when you haven't did anything yet. But yeah, man, let's get ready for a good week, good weekend, a good day of conference championship football. You know it's gonna be high, it's gonna be intense. It's gonna be some people sitting on the edge of the seats, like my brother Larry here, and James and Justin. They're gonna be sitting on the edge of their seats all night. And congratulations to you guys for making it to the Final Four. It's not a easy thing to do. You're playing 17 games a year. You know the ball got to bounce your way once or twice to get to this spot. And yeah, man, just hope everybody stay healthy. It's a clean game. No surprise flukes, injuries, nothing like that that can determine the outcome of a game. And yeah, we'll get ready for the Super Bowl. And me and Larry will probably be back to you one day next week when all is weather and madness is over with, and we get back to regular schedule programming and break down Super Bowl 60. And we got 2 weeks to talk about it. Might bring a guest or two on. You don't know. We're gonna make some calls here. And we're gonna give a primer for the Super Bowl, and we'll have a show the day of, and for sure the day of, and maybe we'll have a couple shows for sure. I know that for a fact.
As well as getting to draft coverage as well.
Yep,
Um, you
that's where
know,
I come into play. So
yeah, yeah. So I just want to say one more thing.
please don't
Bronco,
do it.
Bronco, Broncos win today. I'm going streaking. Everybody have a great day. Be safe out there.